I'm curious on what you are excited about in terms of the innovations you're seeing.
Well, a couple of things. One is we had a workshop yesterday on health behavior change or digital health behavior change, which is really, as the title said, is really difficult. But because there's so many considerations about the context that people live in that are different, so that a single solution doesn't necessarily work. There isn't a silver bullet in behavior change, but we're really understanding better how to use things like virtual coaching to really make an impact and to personalize that experience of health behavior change, whether it's for wellness or managing a chronic condition.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I feel like in the world of technology and self-care, the whole idea of connection, I feel people who go to hospitals and work with doctors, quite often they talk about just having that back and forth,
right,
and having that level of empathy and having that level of immediate support.
Right.
So it is interesting in the world of innovation that there is some sort of humanity that keeps poking its head as being an important part of the process.
Yeah, I think it's very important to have that sense of humanity and empathy. And how do you express, some people are talking about the concept of digital empathy. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? What does that look like?
Did you find out yesterday?
No,
okay.
But no, I think it's an acknowledgement that somehow through the app or the virtual coaching or even through chatbots, which is another interesting technology, that is expressed, that you have a sense of concern and understanding and personalization, that
right,
you understand me and you understand what I'm going through and you understand more specifics about me, but not in a creepy way, but in a empathetic way.
And with the whole idea of themes such as compassion, empathy, love, those are things that you can't necessarily measure in terms of outcomes. And I think that whole idea of trying to talk about the importance of these themes in technology, it's just very exciting to see that that's becoming more appreciated.
Right. Another, on a related note, chatbot concept, which came up in the AI workshop, artificial intelligence, is how do you do that? How you personalize that experience, but also how you gain trust from the patients. I mean, it's like talking to a robot, but if their experience is, if it comes from a trusted healthcare brand. So if you're going to a hospital or a provider that's connected with a health system that you trust, and now you're talking to a chatbot from that health system, they find that patients instantly trust.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible.
And then you have to think about, why did they like the healthcare system in the first place?
Right.
And the answer is probably because they had a wonderful personal
right.
Right?
Relationship.
So it all comes down to that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, what else, John?
Well, I think artificial intelligence and its application in population health, which is a little complicated topic, but there's a whole lot of data about that comes through in population health, and analyzing that, interpreting in meaningful ways, and even in real time is a real challenge. Mm-hmm. But I think we're getting closer to be able to do that, and particularly a professor from Duke was talking about using artificial intelligence to bring all the data together and understanding which patients might deteriorate in the next couple of days. And if you can get a jump on that, then you can avoid the potential for them to going into the ICU, or if they're at home, avoid the need for an emergency room visit. You could send out a visiting nurse, for instance.
Being able to anticipate as a result of data patterns that this might happen.
Right, exactly.
Right. It is interesting to think, I think a few years ago, of how much people were so excited by data and having a moment of pause when all of it was coming in, of how to spend the time to really use it effectively.
Right.
So, okay, anything else you want to talk about?
There have been some discussions about aging in tech, And we have a task force on that topic now in the Personal Connected Health Alliance, and there was a panel this morning. We've had other discussions because the whole baby boomer generation that's creating this silver tsunami, the real questions on, can digital health make a difference?
Right.
And everybody is clearly acknowledging we don't have enough providers, don't have enough physicians or nurses to treat people over 65, between 65 and 100,
Yeah.
or 110, and how can digital health be an adjunct to that, and do the elderly engage in digital health? And we're seeing more and more they do,
Right.
at least in the baby boomer generation. In the old 80 or 85 plus,
Yeah.
less so, but their family caregivers are definitely engaged and want tools to help with the caregiver process, whether that's due to helping with somebody with memory loss,
Yes.
or other chronic conditions.
Right.
Yeah.
There is an argument that when you're actually selling technology to an older person, whether you're actually selling it directly to them or their caregiver,
Right.
right? And I do feel, I mean, from your perspective, do you think older people get a bad rap in terms of their ability to understand technology?
Yes, I think in the past few years, particularly with things like, one of my arguments is the adoption of Skype or FaceTime in the elderly to be able to see their grandchildren,
Right.
who may be at a distance, is a real boon and something we can exploit for digital health,
Yes.
because they're used to that technology. They may be used to email, or they may struggle with email, but if you have simple apps, and I think often in a larger format, like a tablet rather than a small iPhone that's a lot harder to touch and read,
Sure.
makes it easier.
Yeah.
I recently wrote a paper for our group on usability for the aging, and taking into consideration, the elderly is not one group of people either.
Right.
I mean, we talked about the old versus the younger old, but also people have different disabilities. Some people have a lot of arthritis, so hand manipulation is a challenge, whether they're using a medical device or a consumer device or an app. That can be a challenge for them. They may not have as good touch in their fingers. They may have visual problems, but everybody is different.
Yeah.
And understanding those needs and applying universal design principles is really important in digital health if you want adoption from the aging population.
And actually, we had a good insight from Anders Strasberg, who is running the wearable division of Sony. And he has built a watch, and he distinctly showed us it's for older people to monitor them. It's in black and white, because his market research was that actually color for older people, too confusing. The simplicity of black and white
That's
works
good to
better,
know.
right? Who would
Yeah.
have thought?
Yeah, and I think good user testing really makes a difference there. So what's your target audience? And I don't think anybody's targeting all elderly, but who's your focus group? You know, is it somebody with a chronic condition or memory loss, or is it the caregiver? And design for that group. Bring that group into the design process. And that's another theme that's coming out, and there was a workshop about this yesterday also on user-centered design and even patient co-design. So not just a one-shot focus group,
Yeah.
but
Taking them
throughout
with
the
you.
whole
Taking them
design
with you.
group.
That's
Yeah.
right. Awesome.
Including post-marketing and so on. Yeah.